Hello everyone, welcome to Crow Angel's Thesis tutorial part 2. It's been a while. So today we're going to learn the second part of Crow Angel's Thesis. Just a verse goes something like this. Today, you're going to need a lot of bar chords. You're going to be using your first finger a lot. It may hurt at first, but keep practicing and you'll get it. Then you'll be using a lot of your pinky, actually, to do a lot of the melodies. And there's a lot of optional, not really ghost notes, but that's how I like to think of them, where you're just kind of inserting them to fill in the rhythm. Anyway, let's get started. So first, going to start the bar on the 3rd fret. And just personally, how I like to do it is I like to bar these 3 top strings and then mute the A, but it's perfectly fine to have a full bar too. So anyway, bar the 3rd fret with your first finger, and then take your 4th finger and fret the 6th fret on the A string. And you get this nice E flat. But first, you're going to want to have just this one, but have your pinky at standby. So maybe have that muting the A string as well. So anyway, you have this bar on the 3rd fret, and you have your pinky at standby. So you go strum the 3rd fret, and then you press down on your pinky, and you get, that's the first note of the melody. So it's like the chord. So how are you going to do the melody is you press down the pinky here, and then you pluck this A string with your up strum. Doesn't matter if it catches the other strings, but make sure the A string is at the front. It's the loudest and clearest. And then you're going to tap the G string twice quickly with your thumb, like. Yeah, that's nice and pretty. Then you move on to the B flat chord. And with this one, no more bar, though again you can bar 5th fret if you want, but you're going to have your first finger on the 5th fret of the C string, your middle finger, your 2nd finger on the 6th fret of the E string, your 3rd finger on the 7th fret of the G string, and your pinky on the 8th fret of the A string. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, but 5, 6, 7, 8, if that makes sense. And then, again, you're going to do the same kind of principle, where you strum once and then pluck the A, but instead of plucking the G twice, you're going to pluck the E string twice. So it's strum, A, E, E. And then you move on from there to the C minor chord. So basically what's going to happen is you're going to move this shape up 2 frets, but then you're going to invert your 2nd and 3rd fingers a little. So what's going to happen is you leave these two the same. It's a nice octave. And you take your 2nd finger, put it on the 8th fret of the G string. And you take your 3rd finger and put it on the 8th fret of the E string. So you get this nice C minor. And here we're just going to be strumming this chord and moving your pinky around to make the melody. So first your pinky is going to start on 10th fret. Then it's going to go to 11. So and I'm adding the G string here. I'll do that a lot to kind of fill in the rhythm. So it's 10, 11, 10, then it goes back down to the B flat chord, the previous chord we were just on. Remember, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then this time though, you're going to want to fret it, and my brother says this is painful, so it might be painful if you have shorter fingers especially at first. If you practice it, I think you should be able to get it down. Jake Shimabukuro has pretty short fingers and he can do this. Where you kind of press down the 5th fret, and you can have this barred, I don't. Then you do the 6th fret on both E and A with your 2nd finger, your middle finger. And then on top of that, you stretch up your 3rd finger to the 7th fret of the G. And then you put your pinky on 8th. So what ends up happening here is you'll strum the full B flat chord with the pinky on 8th, then you let go, and you'll strum up, or pluck up, to get the 6th fret, which is your 2nd finger, and then you put the pinky back on, and then you'll shift the whole chord up to a bar on 8th fret. And this time you're really going to want to bar this. Though again, be prepared to mute the A string, because you will actually need this time. So what happens is you bar the 8th fret with your first finger. Your 3rd finger is on 10th fret on the A string, that's the melody. And then again, you're gonna do the kind of strum, pick thing again. So you strum, and then put your pinky on 11th fret, and then I'm adding a G note here. Just give a little down strum, and then you do another up strum on the 10th fret. So it's 10, 11, 10. And the last note of the melody is just the G, C, E strings with A muted. So basically you just take this bar and lift up your finger just a little bit. It's like from here to here, where the bottom part of it is hovering just enough to mute the A string. And then you have C, G, E ringing. So, alright, nice. So all that should be bar on 3rd and then 6th fret. And then 5, 6, 7. Then you swap it. 10, 10, 11, 10, 8, 6, 8, 10, 11, 10, 8. And then, now for the fun stuff. So we go back down to the B flat. And one difference here, this verse happens twice, like back to back. The dun, da, dun, da, dun, and it goes all the way through and it comes back. So just to differentiate, the first time I have this thing where I have my 3rd finger up here on the 7th string, but if it's any less painful, and for me, it kind of gets tiring to do this a lot. So the second time, I vary it so I don't have this finger up here, and instead, in barring, I just have this finger down here, so that way I'm only barring with one finger. So that bar on 5th fret with your 1st finger, then take your 2nd finger and put it on the 6th fret of the E, and then take take your 3rd finger and put it on the 6th fret of the A string. So now you get this. So that's going to be a strum and a pluck up and then little G note I'm inserting. And then either you can do that twice where you just flick up on the A string, but I like to flick strum. Just make sure the A note rings out twice because that is the melody. So, and then oh yeah, and then we're back. Then you go from, and then you shift this shape up to the 10th fret. So again, this is easier if you don't do this because there's less to move. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be sliding down the bar from a full bar to just 5th fret bar, and then you move it up to 10th fret. So now you're barring the 10th fret, but only on C, E, A with your 1st finger. And then it's going to be the same kind of thing where you take your 2nd finger, put on the next fret up, 11th fret on the E string, and then put your 3rd finger, put it directly under it on the A string. And then you're just going to go down, up, where you go 11th fret and then let go with your 3rd finger. And then next 2 chord changes happen really fast. You're going to take the G minor shape and move it all the way up to here. So now you have your middle finger on the 9th fret of the C string, your 3rd finger on the 10th fret, and your 1st finger on the 8th fret. And then you're just going to go dun, dun. So you play that chord shape and move it down 2 frets. Oops. So you just go 1, 2, 3, 4. And one last melody note is you're going to flick out your pinky to 10th fret. And on the A string here, and then let me remember what I'm playing again. Okay, we're back. And then keep your pinky on 10th fret. You're going to move the rest of your chords so that now you're barring the 5th fret. And then you take your middle finger and put it on the 7th fret of the G string. So now you get this little D minor 9. It's a lot of fun. So that's the first melody note. And then the next melody note is going to be you're taking your 3rd finger and putting it on the 8th fret of the A string. So that resolves that back down to the root. And then so you move it back down, you just kind of shift it down to the 7th fret, and you move it back up again. So it's like strum, flick, flick, strum. And then, now this is where first time, second time really differs. The first time you go back down to this low G chord, which, you know, if you do Riptide or songs like that, you'll see a lot. And then, except you're going to want to do the sus4 variation, which is a fancy way of saying you put your pinky on the 3rd fret. And then you're just going to just strum. Yeah, just strum that for a bit. And then, little quick melody. Go down to the middle finger. So just let go with your pinky and add it immediately back on and go up to 5th frets. And then this is the first time, so you go back and play the all the way through the verse again, and you go back to the second time you flick up to this G sus4 and just resolve it. And it sounds really sweet and angelic until we ruin it in the 3rd part. But we'll save that for later. So now, just one more thing. This G sus4, how you resolve it, all you have to do is take this bar on 7th fret with your 1st finger, put your middle finger down on 8th fret, and put your pinky on 10th fret, and then just strum that, and then let go with your middle finger, and just be careful not to flip people off.